If you've been around here for a while at Pennies Not Perfection, you know I talk a lot about building a strong financial foundation for ourselves, for our families, and for the next generation. And that's because as a mom of two kids, ages 4 and 7, I spend a lot of time thinking about their future, like a lot. I think about inflation. I think about the cost of education and how it keeps rising. I think about the kind of job market and housing market they're going to be entering one day. Honestly, sometimes it seems really bleak. But the truth is, I can't control all that. All I can control is the tools that I give them, the knowledge, the habits, and yes, the actual financial boost to launch their adult lives with stability and options. Because money gives you options. Today's video is about one tool I've started using that's making it part of my plan a lot easier. It's called Mostt. And while Mostt did contact me to sponsor this video, this is something I genuinely think parents can use as a real tangible way to build generational wealth for their kids and provide a good jumpstart for their futures. So let's talk about why Mostt stood out, and I actually agreed to talk about it today. And that is because my kids' futures might look very different from what I imagine they might be right now. So that's why Mostt actually caught my attention, because it's giving you an option for investing for your kids in the future without actually tagging it for the education purpose, and it gives you a lot more flexibility. So let's talk about what Mostt actually is. Mostt is an investment app specifically designed for parents who want to build a financial foundation for their kids. I love that the name comes from the word bridge in several European languages, because the goal is to bridge the gap between where your family is now and the financial freedom and the financial future you want for your children. And that is generally, for most people, to build generational wealth so their kids have a much better life in the future than you are currently able to live. And unlike a 529, a Mostt account can be used for anything they need in the future. It could be used for college, it could be used for starting a business, buying a house, or it can even just be used to give them a cushion as they start their adult lives and to give them that jump start on building financial freedom and actually building wealth in their own lives. And that is because with Mostt, there's no restrictions and no penalties on how you use the money. So let's talk about how it works and some of the great benefits. Here's what you can do with your account at Mostt. You can set up recurring contributions, so you can set it and forget it. So you're always adding chunks to your child's future by putting money away that is just automated. The focus on investment growth. So you're not just putting money into a savings account, your contributions are invested in a portfolio designed based on your goals and your child's age. So it does take into account a number of different factors, including how old your child is now, what you want to do with the money, and your risk tolerance. So there's a lot of factors that invest it into a portfolio designed for that information. You can also invite friends to earn bonuses, so you can earn rewards for sharing the app with other parents. And that is always something that I like in apps. If I'm going to use them, I want to be able to share them and get referrals and get bonuses for that. It's always nice if I found something I like to be able to get a little bit extra when I am sharing it. Another feature I really liked was the Smart Change, where you automatically invest your spare change into your child's account. It's a simple way to build up your child's future without even thinking about it, because once you enable it, it rounds up your everyday purchases to the nearest dollar and then invests that spare change for your child. I love programs like this because it does it without you even thinking about it, so there's no extra work. It's really effortless. So another one that I really liked was gifting, because for us personally, gifting is a huge part of the 529 plans that we have, and I would like to use the gifting aspect for the Mostt account as well. And this just lets all of the people that care about your children contribute as well. So you can let grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends contribute directly for things like birthdays or holidays. If they want to give gifts, they can put it directly toward this account. Another great thing about this is not only the flexibility of what you can use the money for, but also the flexibility of when your child can get this money. So Mostt lets you choose when your child gets access to the money. So unlike a custodial account where they take control automatically at either age 18 or 21, you get to decide the milestone where your kid gets access to this account. So it could be graduating college. It could be when they start their career and get their first job, or whenever you know that they will be ready to handle it responsibly in the future. As a parent, I love that flexibility because I know that I will be able to choose the right time for them based on the child and how they grow and how they develop and how they handle money responsibly. financially. I will be able to evaluate their lives and see if they're ready for an influx of money and be able to give them this gift at that time. So let's talk about the actual investment options, because this is an investment app, and Mostt offers 5 personalized investment portfolios. So they do have 5 different ones, and those are made up of best-in-class ETFs, and they are tailored to your child's age, your risk tolerance, and your financial goals for this money. And in 2025, they are adding the ability to invest in individual stocks. This is not something they previously had, but that is something that's new. And that is so great because not only does that build wealth, but it can also teach kids how the stock market works. So you can set them down and show them the stocks that are in this account. You can talk about the ETFs, what they are, what they mean. It's a great way to actually be investing for your child and also teaching them at the same time. Anytime you are deciding if you want to use an investment account or any type of financial account, you are likely going to have questions about the safety and security of that account. So I did research what Mostt does for this, and they said Mostt uses bank level encryption and works with Alpaca Securities LLC as their brokerage partner. So be aware that this is not a brokerage, but they do have a brokerage partner, and that is something that you have to decide if you're comfortable with. Personally, I have been using this type of account for a long time with other brands and other partners, but it is not for everyone. Your account is protected up to $500,000 through SIPC coverage. So bottom line is your money is invested in the stock market. So there is a level of risk with those investments. No matter what brokerage you are using, no matter what way you are investing that money, if you're investing, there is always a level of risk, but the money in your account does have the coverage of the programs that I mentioned. You can evaluate if this is enough for you to feel safe with your money. For me, it was. And I know that my money is going to be working for my kids and not just sitting in a savings account, which sometimes it can be easier to just leave it in a savings account, but then you lose out on those investment gains and the compounding that can happen over time. Let's talk about why this actually matters to me and why I decided to do this video, because here's why this app resonated with me so much. And it's when I think about building generational wealth, I'm not just thinking about leaving money in a will someday. I'm not just thinking about when I die. I don't like to think about that. And I don't think about an inheritance as the way that I personally want to build generational wealth for my kids. I am thinking about accounts like this. I am thinking about building accounts that they can see, that they know about, that they can see how the money is invested, that they can learn about it. I want to give my kids a financial boost in multiple ways. That includes paying for college with the 529 plan. That includes building an investment account like this, where I can eventually give that to them to give them a great start to their lives when they're ready. It includes actually doing things that will change the trajectory of their lives, and it means they will graduate debt-free. They will buy their first home without draining their savings, hopefully. And I also will be doing things like teaching them along the way. I will be showing them their account here. I will be showing them what it looks like as their money grows. And I will be showing them in the ways that they budget their money with having allowance every week and using that money to save and invest and to spend. I want my kids to start adulthood with a good financial foundation and also without the burden of student loans or any sort of debt. I want them to have the freedom to take risks in their lives, to choose careers that they love, and to give back to themselves and their community someday as well. Mostt is just one way to take that vision and turn it into something concrete and make it real. So let's talk about some of the downsides, because no tool is perfect, and I always include downsides when I make these videos because, let's be honest, even my favorite things have downsides. So first, Mostt is a new company. That is something that is very important to realize. They were founded in 2024, and that means they don't have decades of history or a long performance track record. So for some parents, that might give you a pause. I get it. And when it comes to your kids' money, you definitely want stability, and many of us look for that long track record. But here's how I looked at that when I decided whether or not I wanted to use this. The leadership team behind Mostt has a strong background in finance and technology and decades in the field. The app is SEC licensed in all 50 states, and they've partnered with a reputable custodian to keep accounts safe. To me, that's a promising foundation for growth, even if it is the early days. The second downside I see is the cost, because Mostt is not free. There is a 30-day free trial to try it out, and after that, there is a small monthly fee. So that money is going back into Mostt, which will make it a much more likely long-term success. but that is something to consider. And then the final downside is the timing. Because it's new and they have so many exciting features planned, some of them are not available yet and they're still rolling out to customers. So I'd rather see those already available because some of the features that I like the most are still coming out. All of those are small things, and for me, they were outweighed by the positives. So let's talk about how I'm using Mostt in my financial plan for building wealth for my kids. First of all, I am using it alongside a couple other things that I'm doing to hopefully build generational wealth for my kids, and I am contributing to my 529 plans, and then I am contributing to this Mostt account as well. The 529 plans are set up for education expenses, so that money will be used for education, and then if anything is left over, you can roll over a certain amount into a Roth IRA for that adult child. So that will be great if that happens. And if not, that's okay as well. And then my Mostt contributions are for everything else. So this is just an investment account and it can be used for anything: housing, travel, starting a business, whatever my kids need. So by that point, by the time they take over this account, they will hopefully have these strong financial skills they need to take over this money and manage it wisely. And because I can set the access date myself, I know I can hand over the account when they're actually ready. Not just because they hit a certain age or a certain birthday. I will be able to actually give them this investment when they can handle it and use it wisely. So obviously, Mostt is just one piece of my generational wealth plan for my kids. I'm also teaching my kids how to manage money now, how to manage money in the future. We're having lots of talks about what money means, how to spend it, how to save it, and how to manage it wisely. And this is before they ever get access to big accounts or actual accounts, because right now they're young, they're 7 and 4. One way I'm doing that right now is through allowance, but it's not just giving them cash. We talk about splitting it into giving, saving, spending, and investing. My daughter actually is starting to understand the idea of putting money away and it earning money when it's put away and building on itself and compounding, which I am so excited about. They are learning now how to make decisions with their money that they're getting, with their allowance for the chores they do. And then they are learning how to delay gratification as well, because every time they get an allowance, they do have to save and invest part of that money. This is how I'm teaching my kids to think about the long term and make that concept real to them. Because here's the truth: no matter how much you invest for your kids, it will not help them if they don't know how to handle that money when they get it. So between the education I'm giving them now and the financial foundation I'm building with the tools like Mostt, my hope is that they'll enter adulthood with confidence to handle money well and with the choices to actually have money to do what they need. If you've been thinking about ideas like building generational wealth or giving your kids a cushion for their financial future, if you've been overwhelmed by these topics, Mostt might be a great way for you to start. You can open an account in minutes with a very small contribution, and you can let time and compound interest do the heavy lifting with that money so that it grows for when your kids actually need it in the future. I will leave a link in the description for you to try out Mostt for free for 30 days. If you're not sure if you can have another investment account and where will you find the money for this, honestly, think about it this way: you just skip one toy that you're going to purchase, or you skip one outing, or you skip one little thing per month and put that money into a Mostt account instead. And then 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when they're older, they are not going to remember the toys, those little things that are long gone or long broken, but they will have the impact of having a real financial head start as they become adults. That's how I'm seeing Mostt fit into our financial plan for the future for building wealth for our kids. It's how I think other families can use it as well. It is important to remember that generational wealth and building a financial foundation for yourself and your kids is not built in a single moment. It's built through those small, consistent actions over time. And Mostt is one of the tools that you can use to make those actions easier and more flexible and more impactful. It's always great to try out new tools and see if those tools fit the plan that you have for building wealth for your family. I'm excited to see where this account is one day, and when my kids are finally ready for it, they will be hopefully in a good place to take over the money and handle it wisely. I'm even more excited to see what they'll be able to do with this money and this foundation because of what we're doing now with tools like Mostt and the education that we're giving them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and definitely check out Mostt in the description box.